Hello, hello, hello. Hello, we the juice for the juice. I like it. Hello, Dougie Fresh. How are we today? Can you guys hear me all right? Sorry, I pushed it back a little bit. I was working on this presentation, what I wanted to talk about, gather all of that, and then it was like, oh, time to go live, and I hadn't showered and I felt disgusting, so I needed to, do a little personal upkeep, We the juice for the juice. I need to know where your name came from. I just need to. Are you just a big fan of juice, or need to know? The people demand to know. Oh, I forget. Oh, stupid shit. Here, I'll put myself in the little baby corner there. From the juice. Yeah, he's such a sweet guy. He really is. You ever watch any of these guys and you can just tell this person has a great heart? Like, he has a great heart. You can tell that he, genuinely loves his family, which is huge to me, and his girlfriend, and it's just so sweet. And, beautiful, wonderful. All right. Well, I made me make my own account because oh, she made you make your own because you're watching. No, you're okay. You're okay. I'm getting pretty good at reading between the lines. Where's our boy Justin at, Dougie? Should we shoot him the link? Does he want to come over? I'm going to send this. Justin, if you're here, I'm going to send you the link. Can come hang out with me for a little while. If I can figure out how to send the link. How do I do this? It says add people, but I don't think that's... Oh, found it. Invite guests to the studio. Good cop. Good cop, bad cop. Everybody needs a good cop and everybody needs a bad cop. It is what it is. And I'm fully intending that I am not going to have probably more than 5 people. And that's okay, because I've been wanting to do this for a couple of days. And we're just going to fucking send it. We're just going to fucking send it. All right. I just want to find Justin and send this over to my buddy. I'm assuming he's probably live right now. Who knows? We might even be doing a loop here. He might be streaming me, and I'm going to go send him the link. We'll see. Nope. He is watching somebody. Okay, come on. Where's your chat? All right, we're good. I sent him the link. Jay, baby. I'm so happy that you're here. All right, let me get this up because, we're going to talk about some stuff. But if you think you're coming here to get some tea and some shit talking, you're not in the right place. Sorry. Not today. Okay. Let's go here. See, I'm probably going to go back here and add it to the stage. Why is it doing that? What is that? Sharing. Stop. What the flip? Oh, it was working. I'm an idiot. That's fine. Nope, I don't think that's what I wanted to okay, I think I gotta retire because I cannot get my shit together over here. No, just kidding here. Okay, let me add it to the stage and away we go. Um, doo, doo, doo. There you go. Who is angry? Everybody's angry. Everybody's angry. Yes. So I'm gonna tell you. This is why I wanted to do this, to be honest. So any all of us who have been in all of the chats and watched all of this, and it's not because everybody doesn't care about the case. That's not it at all. But we've just seen a lot of like arguments, a lot of bickering, a lot of back and forth between and among the chat mostly. I mean, that's kind of been ongoing, but I feel in a sense that it's been I'm not angry. I'm not angry anymore either. I was a little bit angry last week, but when I feel a certain way about something or somebody, and if I were to sit in that situation and continue to surround myself with someone who doesn't have my best interest at heart or wants to treat me like I'm the shit on the bottom of their shoe, the best thing for me to do is just remove myself from the situation. So I don't need to name names. If you know type situation, but I don't need to take verbal abuse from a man, and I'm not going to. So screw you and the horse you rode in on, because the horse you rode in on ain't playing either. I'm not angry. I'm just an asshole. Yeah, join the club, hun. For show. All right. So I want to talk about kind of why the escalation of behavior and why everyone just kind of seems to be getting increasingly more on each other's nerves, and interesting different things that I've seen. And I will tell you, on top of just the we call it online bickering, the love hate that's going on a little bit, I also see stuff like literally watching JLR this morning, literally watching him this morning, and he's pulled over on the side of the road. He finds a lump of something in the lawn, and like on the side of the highway. I think he's on like 179. He once highway 179, and he's looking around with this couple. I think it's voices. Oh, I'm gonna get it totally wrong. Voices for the missing. Voices. It's something voices. If I find it, I will definitely drop it, because I'm all about spreading the love here. We're going to spread love, not hate. Okay? Let's just a little more love in the world. He, what? He totally did. All right. Well, let's I'm doing something else anyways. So let's Justin, my love, he made it. Justin, everybody. Hello, love. How are you? Oh my gosh. Justin, we gotta we're gonna switch over. I'm gonna go watch JLR for a second. I'm not leaving. Stay. Please stay. Um but I think Justin has his stream on. Okay. Well, we're gonna do it anyway. And I'm sorry. It's because my computer is so fucking slow. And yes, I swear on here, that's why it's marked that it's not content for children. So, kind of like, we're going to be as a PG as we can, but it just doesn't always work out that way, does it, Justin? It just doesn't always work out that way. it a little bit. It's like we may have missed that. I bet you Justin has a whole setup over there, and he's probably got 20. Oh, Lord. Okay. Okay, wait. That was weird. I think it just like my computer skitzed. Like literally, y'all, and this is not like a pity party or anything like that. I have one laptop. It is old, old as the hilt, and it is my internet is slow. So I need to we're gonna have to do something about this. But okay, I'm gonna put us on the side and we're gonna add this. And then we're gonna rewind it and watch our little buddy. And it's he got a verbal warning.
I'm going on the speed limit. He got me paranoid of
Someone in the
everything.
chat. Men, so I'm cracking up. Yeah, I know. Yes. Doug, see if you can ask Richard to unblock. I'll behave. Oh, no, Richard Nolette. Man, you guys, 100%, I wish that Aaron would find my little itty bitty tiny little baby channel and that Richard would find my itty little bitty tiny little baby channel and that they would come on because I would love to talk to both of them. So any of them, just let them know I'm live and we want to hear from them. Right, Justin? I want to hear from them. Do you? Yeah. I mean, this is a safe space and it's a small chat. So we dive heavily into the replay crew here, apparently. I believe. Oh, we did juice. You better we behave here. This is positive vibes and swearing, but we behave whilst doing them. Okay. All right, Justin, we're going to talk about the psychology behind why everybody is just getting a little extra feisty lately. Everyone just getting extra feisty. So here we go. I'm going to share it, and it's not, a live stream, so this doesn't apparently have an issue coming up, but let's wait. There we go. Okay. What are we going to discuss? What are we going to discuss, Justin? Sorry, I know everyone hates PowerPoints, but get the F over it because otherwise I will squirrel and we'll end up talking about the different branches of the government and we'll talk about aliens and conspiracy theories for the rest of the afternoon. So I have this, we'll get through it, and then we will, I don't know, we'll just open it up and see what other people want to talk about. So pretty petty live. Here we go. So we're going to look into the psychology. Like I said, psychology can explain why everyone is frustrated, why everybody feels so emotionally involved in this case, why we are connecting to our favorite YouTuber. And don't tell me you don't have a favorite because you do and you're here. So obviously it's me. Just kidding. It's not me. But I can think that, right, Justin? I can think that. So Why is the frustration among all of us increasing, both in the chats, like I said, and between, the streamers? We've seen some not so kind exchanges to and amongst one another. And because I listen and talk to a lot of the different streamers, it is to me a little disheartening, right? Like, they're kind of our little YouTube Nancy Guthrie family. And I just want everyone to get along. Right, Justin? We just want everyone to get along. Okay. And what can we do about it? And the main reason I wanted to do this is because if we know better, we do better. If I know why I'm behaving a certain way, if I know how to address, the issues behind it, then usually I can, try and help myself type situation. So that is what we're going to talk about. Doug, I did see your request to come on. I will absolutely get you on here in a little bit. Let me just get through this little PowerPoint, and then I will send you that, because, Lord already knows that I cannot stream someone else's stream on my stupid computer, so I don't want 3 people to also break it. So let me just get through this. I'll get that down, and then we'll get you on, promise. Okay, so let's go. All right, we want closure. An unsolved case, it creates emotional tension. Our brain naturally wants to try to complete the story. I want to make square pegs fit round holes. And I think it's another reason why we see people kind of attaching more closely to theories. And then once that one is disproven or there's evidence against it, we see them jumping to another theory. It's just the brain's way of wanting things to make sense. So when we cannot get answers from the authorities, then we have to fill the gaps, right? What does JLR always say? Lack of information leads to speculation. And it's true, because I don't like when things are, don't come full circle. So our brain wants to finish the story even when we don't have all of the pieces. And then I'll go on. Oh, look at the poor little skeleton dude. He's just looking for some closure, Justin. He just wants some closure too. All right. So our need for cognitive closure. Our brain desires definite answers instead of ambiguity. We don't want, you told Jailer he needs break fluid. Okay. See, this is why I have a PowerPoint, because then I'll know what I was talking about and I can just go back to it. So it's kind of like, have you ever noticed how uncomfortable silence feels when you know something important happened, but nobody knows the answers, right? That discomfort doesn't just happen in true crime. It happens also in everyday life, right? I like to make things make sense in my everyday life because, believe it or not, me and hopefully all of the other people who are on this platform have lives outside of this. So I like to learn lessons in different scenarios and apply them to my real life outside of, the chats and things. So it's not that much different than when you have a text and you're just left on read, right? I'm like, okay, did that person not like what I said? Did I make them mad? My brain wants to try to make sense of what is going on. I lost Justin. Justin, my co-host. Well, come back, Justin. I don't know where you went. Okay. A friendship that ends without explanation, right? So-and-so stopped talking to me. I don't know what I did. You may try to reach out. You may not try to reach out. But what I'm trying to do is I want to make sense of it. I don't like when I don't know the why something happened. I actually had a certain situation that happened to me, like 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I still, comes to mind once in a while. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't understand. Like, that person and I were so close. And now, like, that person just decided they weren't going to talk to me anymore. Like, what is up with that? All right. So then need for cognitive closure. Then we have the intolerance of the uncertainty. We're emotionally uncomfortable when we don't have answers to our questions. So it's discomfort. Oh, Justin. Okay, you're back. Yay. All right. And then cognitive dissonance, mental stress when facts feel incomplete or when they contradict one another, right? So what we have are, a bunch of different streamers. They all have their own way of doing things. They all have their own opinions. They all have, their own platforms. And it's specifically for this purpose. Where the dissonance comes in between the streamers is that they all like to focus on different angles and they all have different theories that they're trying to focus on and trying to make, sense of the information that they have. And the information that they have may be different than the information that somebody else has. And then what we also have is we have, me or anybody else who, goes from one stream to the other. I'm going to call us in-betweeners. We have the in-betweeners that want to go and go to a different channel and, tell the other YouTuber, well, JLR caught this, 857 caught this. Mark is roaming around in the desert and got poked by a cactus. Now he's at urgent care. We have the in-betweeners that are also giving information to them. And it is also information over then who, we want to contribute. We feel like we're adding value. And so we're trying to bring them additional information and it can get overwhelming, right? I think Justin is trying to stream. Justin is not a grifter. Don't you dare, Doug. I know you're just joking. So yeah, that's kind of, what we're talking about. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating on our end because we're trying to be helpful, right? I'm telling you information and you're not listening to me, but they also have 800 other people in the chat that are trying to tell them things. And, it can get to be a lot very quickly. And I just want to make sure that my AirPod connected because I had to switch from one to the other. I think my AirPod. Justin, can you hear me okay? Uh-oh. Now can you hear me? Oh, hey, Blue. Hello. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you, Angel Eyes. All right. So we have mental stress when the facts feel incomplete or when they contradict each other. So my point of saying when we jump back and forth between the chats, I'm guilty of it too. I'm not sitting here about any of this on a high horse telling you that I don't do any of this shit too, because I do. But I'm trying to get better at it. I'm just a work in progress here, Social media amplify emotional reactions, dramatic accusations, and confident theories far more than careful uncertainty. It's kind of, I know they did it, spreads faster than we don't know yet, right? And so I've been latching on, people have been latching on to different theories. We've heard of RN, we've heard of Aaron, we've heard of, A&T and all of these other people. And we like to latch onto it because at the time it makes sense to us. It makes sense to me. But that's because it spreads faster than we don't know, right? If I don't have somebody to pin this on, if I don't have one person that I'm actively trying to look into, then I get lost in this abyss of I don't know what to look at. I don't know what to look for. The internet is a vast place with lots of information, but sometimes you have to be knowing what you're looking for to even start looking. So we are, assuming someone is angry because they stop replying. It was the theory I was talking about before, right? I had a friend, they kind of just fell off the face of the earth. I know they're okay. I can see that you're on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. I know you're somewhere in the internet universe, so I know you're still of this earth, but you're not talking to me. So it makes me uncertain. It makes me question things. I did it right before I got on the live. I sent it to a few people. I didn't hear anything back from those people. I'm like, are they mad at me? Are they not going to come? Do they not want to watch me freaking talk? I mean, there's all these things that go behind even coming on here and putting yourself out there. And that goes for everybody. Not to mention, a lot of these guys have 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people screaming different things at them. And the chat goes so fast that, they can't keep up with it. Then you have the people that are in there saying the same thing. So Jailer's out here today and he's, boots on the ground, literally out there searching. He comes across lump of lawn, I've been calling it. And he doesn't know, what's in that undisturbed dirt ground area over there. So he's going to call the police, whatever. So he went through all of that. And he is in a parking lot. And I see someone in the chat say, are you wearing deodorant? Okay. Are you wearing deodorant? Now, that's nice that that person's concerned. But okay, we'll get into this later. But just keep that in mind. Someone asked in the chat if he was wearing deodorant. I hope he is. It's Arizona and it's like a bajillion degrees out there. So let's hope so for all of our sakes. So anyway. And then it's the same instinct that becomes magnified in high profile cases because the stakes, they feel emotional and they feel public and they're so high, right? The eyes of the nation, the eyes of the world are targeting on specifically this case. And I don't know about you guys, but $1.2 million, is certainly high stakes. And I could definitely buy a new laptop that works if I had $1.2 million. I'm just saying. But at the same time, it's all that uncertainty surrounding the case and the lack of answers and the lack of, the family talking out about it. And it's making us connect a lot of dots because there aren't any answers for it. So it gets magnified. It gets to those inner human emotions where, we're going to grasp at anything because not having an answer is more frustrating than having the wrong answer. Social media, again, it wants certainty. Here's the psychological perspective. We have emotional contagion. So emotions that spread rapidly through group. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I definitely have. I'm in a group chat and that person says, we don't like this other person, or this person said something bad. And holy shit, does that chat blow up. Blow up. Oh my gosh, that person sucks. That person has smelly feet. I know that that person doesn't wear deodorant. Whatever the case may be, right? There are so many things. Hey, Gigi, I'm so glad you're here. But there are so many different things, and people, they want a sense of purpose. And what these streamers do for us is give us a group to belong to. We have people, I've met all of these wonderful people in here by going into different chats and going onto lives and talking to different people. And so it's not always a bad thing. But what we have is when situations and emotions are heightened to this extent, we're going to have our idol, our YouTuber, our favorite one, because don't tell me you don't have one. And I'm still going to say it's me because I need to for my own ego. But anyway, so then we have group polarization. So we have discussions between groups become more and more extreme over time. So the thing about, and we've all seen it, tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm not one of those people. I will admit when I'm wrong. I will apologize if I'm wrong. I will speak from my experience because that is what I know. So we've been in a chat. I'm going to say John Smith's chat because I don't need to be the next one roasted on one of these channels. Okay. Ted is coming show today after. Ted is coming to the He's having a live, or he's coming to your show? Or he's having his own show? Or he is the show, because he is the TED show. So anyways, we have John Smith's chat, and I'm just going to use Ted's chat because Ted doesn't care and I love Ted. So we have someone in Ted's chat saying, oh my gosh, John Smith just said that Kathleen did it. And everyone's like, no, Ted said Kathleen didn't do it. And we have two chats going back and forth in a verbal, I mean, not even a verbal battle, a keyboard warrior battle, saying, no, my streamer's right. No, my streamer's right. That's not what my streamer said. And at the end of the day, we're all just people. And people are going to have opinion. Oh, that's nice. I'm happy for you, Justin. So we're just people, and we all have different opinions. So whatever, but we do see that they're becoming more extreme. It's becoming very much my streamer versus your streamer, this streamer versus that streamer, and it doesn't have to be like that, because what is happening is all of these heightened emotions are just kind of coming to a peak, which we'll get to in a little while, but this is what we're seeing. And then availability heuristic, believing that something is true because it's repeated often, right? We're hearing the same two names, and so far, other than they're kind of shady and where the hell are they and where did they go now, we don't really hear a lot of evidence behind why people believe that it could be these two people. However, it has been repeated over and over again. We hear these same two names. We hear them across the streamers. We hear them on Brian Enton. We hear them on the interview room. We hear them on different platforms. So I'm going to hear the two names. I may not hear what comes before the name or what comes after the name, but I'm hearing these names repeated. Therefore, I'm just going to hop on board with that and say, well, I've heard these names everywhere, so it must be true. Hello, aristocratic. I'm not going to try to pronounce the other word. Looks a little German. I'm a little German, but not that German. Okay. Patterns. Oh, no. 1, 2. Some connections are just coincidence. In unresolved cases, ordinary actions can suddenly appear suspicious through hindsight bias, which I'll explain in a little while. So the interview room, right? We've had the people from the interview room who got that call from Aaron, and to people it seemed odd. And I think because he was just maybe a little bit different than how we would approach it, a little bit different than how I would approach it, how I would have spoken about a certain situation. He used different language. And because we're so entrenched in this, and because it is someone who had appeared to come directly from the outside, we're not going to see anything really but this guy seems very oddly involved, and his voice seems a little suspect, right? I mean, he had some points, I understand, but I think this is what it's saying, is that we're going to jump into and onto and through any theory or any person that comes in that is unfamiliar to us, and we're going to say, well, that person must be the person because they called in and they were talking about the case. Well, I mean, maybe he just had some extra time on his hands. Maybe he was able to watch, different streams. He was able to do some of his own research that some of us weren't able to do, and not as thoroughly. And now everyone wants to, jump on him and jump down his throat. And same thing that happened with Richard Nolette. And I like to keep an open mind. And as much as things, I'll talk about them, I'll say, maybe this doesn't make sense. Yeah, that did seem a little odd. But the last thing I'm going to do is, jump on someone and say, yes, absolutely, this person has to be the one who did it because their behavior seemed different, right? If I was judged, and probably am, every time that I said something that was a little quirky, no one would talk anymore. These platforms wouldn't exist. And from my perspective, what I saw is a gentleman who was interested in the case, and he calls into a show, and he is immediately persecuted by every person in the chat, on different shows, on different streams. And what he wasn't given was a place to speak. He wasn't given the opportunity to say his side of the story openly, honestly, in his own words, without us creating a narrative for him, looking into his background, finding his business. Someone went to his business, and I just wouldn't advise that because I like my safety. I'm a person that likes to be safe. So I don't think that I would be showing up to, it's like Tinder dates. I mean, shit, you've never seen that person in person before. You don't know who they are. You don't know, half the time they don't even look like their freaking pictures, right? I mean, let's be serious here. So I don't know. I honestly, genuinely, as a human, I have empathy for the people who are being persecuted by, the mentality. And the sad thing is, it's not anybody's fault except for, it's psychology. It's how our brains are programmed to operate. We want to make sense of things. We want to say, oh, he must be, responsible at least for a portion of this because we don't have anyone else to blame it on, and he seems a little odd. So again, the reason that we're talking about this today is because there is a reason why, psychologically, we are wired to look at things that way. Pattern seeking behavior. We need things to be a pattern. And so oddballs are usually the people, that commit crimes like these. And because he seemed a little odd, he must have done it. And it is, like I said, just the way our brains are wired. My brain will try to make sense of anything. Has anyone ever looked at, one of those pictures and it says, stare at this red dot in this, the middle of this picture for 1 minute. And then you blink and look away, and it's like you see Jesus in your vision. It's the same thing that I've been seeing with the AI picture of the porch guy. And then we have people who, they see a car in the background, they see a person in the background, they see, a radio in his pocket. I think all of these things that have come out from just that specific picture alone confirms what we're saying here is that I will try to find something that may or may not even be there, and I will try to make it make sense. And because that is a limited piece of information that we possess, we're going to, cling and hang on to that and tear it apart and look at it from all different angles. And luckily that picture doesn't have feelings, because it probably would have, had a really low self-confidence at this point from being, picked apart and scrutinized. But anyway. I'm going to try and get through this a little bit. Yes, but only after the outcome is known. And I've already done this. I've told my husband, someone comes out and says, oh, well, I think that, maybe they've known this whole time. And I've said that. Don't you remember I said that? But I also said 15 other things after that, right? Like, oh, could be this person or it could be that person. But it's just an example. I've been guilty of this as well. Then we have the narrative bias. Our brain prefers coherent stories over randomness. I'm sorry, I was trying to finish my makeup, so I'm going to be very focused from here on out. But our brain prefers coherent stories. Now, I like to tell a story, and when I was growing up, first grade, maybe second grade, third grade, whenever they told us how to write a story, you have a beginning, you have a middle, and you have an end, right? My mom's stories will go from I went to the store to did you see that new movie with Richard Gere to I bought this new shirt on Tuesday back to I forgot what I needed from the store. And I love her to death, but sometimes there's no point sometimes in what she's saying until I say, Mom, what are you trying to tell me? And that's kind of what we're looking at here. And it gets frustrating. Even with similar situations like that, you're hearing someone tell a story. We've all had that friend. We all know that person who just can't get to the point. And it gets frustrating. And right now we're in the middle of get to the point of this whole thing. So the narrative bias, we prefer the coherent stories. That's the point. So here we are. Fear creates scapegoats. And anybody that's been here before, if you haven't been here before, I am very open about the fact that I am. And a lot of it is self-centered fear. But fear creates scapegoats. We are under stress. Then we have to search for someone to blame. It says right there, scapegoat, blame me, you'll feel better, right? That's what we're doing here. We're trying to find somebody to blame. Whether that person is culpable, has anything to do with it or not, our brains need to blame somebody. So right now, we're assigning responsibility to restore a temporary feeling of control, right? Because fear, for me, stems from a lack of control. I don't know who's listening. I don't know if they like me. I don't know if they think I'm an idiot. I don't know. But instead of, me taking accountability and saying, maybe my words were just dumb. Maybe these people just really didn't want to hear me. What I'm going to say is, well, they must have not liked Blue's comment in the chat. That's why they're not here, right? That's why they left, is because they didn't like someone's comment. They didn't like the fact that I wasn't showing my face. And that's because it's my computer's fault, right? I have a dumb computer. I need a new computer. I'm going to find somewhere else to put the blame because I don't want to take accountability for myself. If I come out and say it was my fault, what I was saying was dumb, and I understand that people didn't want to hear me, then I risk the fact that people will not empathize with that. They're not going to see that I'm being sincere and I'm admitting that I'm wrong and I'm admitting that I had no point to my story. If I blame something else, I don't have to deal with the aftermath of that. I don't have to deal with the potential fear of rejection or people not coming back or, whatever the case may be. So, hi, I'm here now. So we assign responsibility to restore a temporary feeling of control. We as human beings, we like to control things. We need to control things. It's just in our nature. We have the psychological perspective to reduce our own anxiety. This goes back to the fact that we need that control and we want answers. Blame somebody else temporarily, it makes me feel better, right? If I'm sad because Justin was supposed to come on my stream and he didn't come on my stream, and then I'm feeling afraid that Justin is rejecting me, it's easier for me to get mad at him than it is for me to take any sort of blame for it. That time didn't work for him. He was doing his own stream. There's other explanations for things other than, dealing with that self-centered fear or the need to project anger on somebody else. Then thank you. Thank you, Blue. So then we have moral panic, right? It's that widespread emotional reaction, which is fueled by that fear and that uncertainty, right? I don't know. And me not knowing, it's kind of like being stuck in the middle of the desert and not having a map or not having a phone or not having a GPS. And I'm with Justin, we're in the desert and neither of us knows where to go, right? The first thing you're going to get is, oh my God, what do we do? Where do we go? What do we do? I'm going to look at Justin and say, where are we going? You got us here, man. You got us in the middle of this desert. Where do we go? Why don't you know where we're supposed to go? Right. So you have fear, but instead of me just saying, I'm afraid because we don't know where to go, because I'm also an adult and I could figure out how to get out of this desert if I would have brought a map, if I had my phone, a GPS, something. But instead of taking responsibility, I'm going to blame Justin because, well, he's next to me. And that's what we have here. That's literally the epitome of what we have. And not only that, not only do we have me and Justin arguing in the desert and how the hell are we going to get out of here, we have an audience. We have 30,000 people that are looking at us saying, go left, you idiot, go right. And so then what does that do? That fuels our frustration. That gets us more mad. Well, Blue's telling me to go right and Gigi's telling me to go left, and I don't know which way to go. So Justin, figure it out. Why don't you know how to get us out of this desert yet? And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Hello. Hello, Lucifer. Nice to see you in here. I love the name. All right. And then we obviously have the displaced aggression. I'm redirecting my fear and frustration onto Justin. I'm an adult. If I wanted to get out of the desert, I should have brought a way to figure out how to get out of the freaking desert. But what we don't have in this case is that way, right? It's on the outside of the desert. We're on the inside of the desert and we don't know where to go. And it's frustrating. We're all getting frustrated. So here, and we've all heard this one before because this is one of the theories that was originally introduced by that little bitty tiny baby channel over here. You call me, we get to talk. Okay, parasocial involvement. People become emotionally attached to victims, investigators, creators, or theories. That emotional investment can evolve into tribal behavior, hostility, and protectiveness. So everybody in here gets on board that John Smith from 1234 Main Street in Tucson, he's the one that did it. We know he did it, right? Everybody in here knows he did it. You go out there and anybody that says it's not John Smith who lives at 1234 Main Street is an idiot. It's not in those words, right? But if I'm going to present a theory, I feel strongly about it, and I have people that are looking to me to have a strong behavior or a strong theory or a strong idea that believe in me, well, they're going to go out there, and now we have 10 miniature pretty little Clues fans. We're going to go out there and say, no, absolutely, I believe her. She sounds smart. It must be 1234 Main Street guy. It's just, we attach to people. It's that parasocial involvement. Someone thinks that, they really like curly hair and she's got curly hair. I have to believe her. My grandma had curly hair, so she's got curly hair. And we develop different emotional attachments based on our own experiences. People we relate to, YouTubers who seem like someone that we used to know or someone that's no longer with us. And we loved that person, therefore we love this person. This person seems the same. I don't have that person anymore. And we attach emotionally. And I need to take a drink because I have realized that I cannot do these sorts of presentations. That happened in my last one, Justin. I talked for 45 minutes. That's where we're at now. And I started getting where I'm going to lose my voice, which is probably better for the world sometimes if I lose my voice. So we have emotional investments and they evolve. We have been seeing these guys on YouTube for this case for months. I mean, February 1st, and it's almost June. It's almost been 4 months, and we've been watching them, if not one of them, then a different one, every day of every month for almost 4 months. It's a long freaking time, right? It's almost 160 days or something like that by the time we get to June, give or take. I'm not mathing in my head right now. So we're seeing this pattern develop. And again, it's psychology. It's not because we are dumb. It's not because we're followers. It's not because we're following blindly. It's because as people, we pull from what we know. We pull from experiences. We pull from the emotions that we've had from people in our lives that we genuinely know have the parasocial relationships. This was a theory from Dr. Q about a person who may have, developed an intense emotional, psychological type relationship with someone in the media. And I don't know who knows this rapper, but if anybody has ever heard Stu from Eminem, right? I can't even, is it called Stan? Stan, did I say Stu? Holy shit, I'm an idiot. Stan, it is all about someone who suffers from parasocial disorder, parasocial relationship. So basically, Stan is writing to him. He's going to shows, and Eminem doesn't know who this person is, right? But this person's like, oh, I have the same tattoo. I named my daughter after you. I was outside the show and you didn't sign an autograph. And what this person actually does is unalive themselves at the end of it because Eminem is not reciprocating that one-sided relationship. When we see it put that way, we can see how those relationships can evolve. And, I've not to that scale, but like I've had things like Lance Bass. Okay. I was a little girl, loved NSYNC, was obsessed with Lance Bass. And when he would sing, he was singing to me. Okay. I don't know, 8 or 9, but I really had this feeling that I was going to grow up and Lance knew I existed. And I remember saying at a concert that I went to and he like waved to the crowd. He was waving at me. The thing is that I was, 9, 10 years old. I wasn't a fully developed human to say he didn't know who I was. And unfortunately, he doesn't play for my team. But beside the point, I was obsessed with him. It was not reciprocated. But we have these people that don't ever grow out of that, don't ever realize that that is not the case, that this person really doesn't know who they are. They don't see them. They don't see them, their chats. I mean, we've seen some of these YouTuber chats and you can't get a word in edgewise there. Can you imagine if every one of us was a fan that was writing a letter? I mean, who would have time to read all of those? But we grow up, we develop, we evolve. And then, we grow out of those situations. There are some people that don't. And we're kind of seeing some of those parasocial relationships develop inside of these rooms. We're seeing them develop amongst each other. If I go into a chat and there, I don't see anybody I know, or I don't have somebody that's like, oh, hey, Justine, I'm like, where are my friends? And I'll go to a different channel to see like maybe somebody's over here. And it's not because I feel like weird, but I feel like on Lonely Island over here if I don't have anybody in the chat that like I feel like I'm corresponding with, because I know that I'm not corresponding with whoever, I'm watching, whatever YouTuber I'm watching. So then we have identity fusion. We emotionally merge our personal identity with a group or a belief system. And I mean, I don't know. I can't relate it to anything except for in high school when I was trying to really figure out my own identity and who I was. I had a time where I dyed my hair was like purple. My hair was like pink at one point. I didn't know who I was. So I was trying to adapt and conform to find out where I fit in or try to change my personality to fit in with other people. And at the end of the day, I grew out of that and I just decided if you don't like me, I don't give a shit. You don't have to be here. And, be kind. But honestly, I care and value the people that are in the chat that know me and like me for who I am, rather than a Tom, Dick, or Harry that randomly shows up in the chat and is like, these people suck. Justine's a grifter, or whatever she wants to say. That's cool. You can think that. But I have other people that I know care about me. So it's all about trying to figure out where we belong. And that's why we emotionally merge from our own identities to a group or a belief system. I'm going to follow this person because I like what they stand for and I emotionally connect to them. I think they're a good person. Then we have the tribalism and the in group bias that we feel we're protecting people we emotionally identify with, and we distrust outsiders. Has anybody been in a chat and someone else comes in and you're like, I've never seen this person's name before, and what the hell are they talking about? They've never even been in here. She doesn't even go to this school, right? You guys see Mean Girls where like, she doesn't even go here. That's kind of what it feels like, is that we're looking at people who are different or haven't been to them before, and we don't we don't immediately trust them because we have this protective layer that we need to protect these YouTubers who probably don't know who half of us are, a quarter of us are, an eighth of us are, but we do it because it's our genetic. We're programmed to have these sorts of feelings. Our culture shapes us into these people. So then we have our internet detective culture. So with true crime communities, we create meaningful discussions, but we can also pressure people into like publicly solving the cases. I mean, I don't know if I'm alone, but part of me feels personally responsible for trying to figure out where Nancy is, who took her, who is this person, what can I find out that's going to be the big break in the case. And not because there really is any external pressure, not like anybody's really thinking Justine's going to go out there and solve the case, but personally I feel a level of responsibility to try and figure something out. And it can lead to rumor escalation, our confirmation bias, and targeting innocent individuals. If I'm the one who finds that one thing that is different that nobody's found before, then I'm going to be the one to solve the case, right? So we have where we're picking apart, I don't want to pull anybody out of thin air, but we can find the smallest detail from someone's past 10 years ago, and we're going to say that person must be the offender because they were carrying around an unregistered firearm 10 years ago and they went to jail for it. So it must be that person. But I'm the one that found it. So I'm going to take it to everybody else to make sure that they know that I was the one that found it. So we're all doing that in our own way. It's the same reason we're going into the chat saying, hey, so-and-so, I found this out. Did you see this? Again, I'm guilty of it too. I'm not preaching from a pedestal here. Like I'm not, up at the pulpit trying to preach my sermon to you guys. What I'm trying to do is just explain that we're all behaving this way and it's causing frustration. So let's go on. We have, the psychological perspective. And the slideshow's almost done. We can get some people in here. We can talk about this. I don't care. I am yours for the day. So we have our collective intelligence. So we have groups that collaborate to solve problems. That's all of us, right? We're all here because we care. We care to a certain extent about the YouTubers that we're watching. We feel protective over them. Now we have our groupthink. There's pressure toward agreement, reducing our critical thinking. They said it, it must be true. But did you really think about behind it, right? Did you think about any factual basis of why that might be true? So I will tell you a theory, and I don't want to get into detail, but it was just kind of one of those like outlandish theories. Like someone came in with a grocery cart and wheeled her out in a grocery cart. Like what local Walmart did you go and find a grocery cart and wheel it all the way to the Catalina foothills? Because you would have to get it there somehow. If they're saying no one took a car, where did the fucking grocery cart come from? Right? So my brain is immediately like, that doesn't make sense. But I would question myself if someone else came on, if one of the bigger YouTubers came on and said, yeah, that grocery cart thing, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I would second guess myself, even though all logic tells me that she didn't get taken out by a grocery cart. She didn't get taken off by a gallant steed. Black Beauty didn't come and ride her off into the sunset. But if someone that I know and I not even know. See, I even do it. Not even someone I know, but one of the people that's on this platform going out there and saying, yeah, I think it was Black Beauty. Yep. I think that beautiful horse came in and rode her off into the sunset, and they are both hanging out, drinking from a stream at the top of Mount Lemon. I might second guess all rational thought. I might be like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. I mean, maybe, right? That's a group think. Then we have de-individuation. We lose our personal restraint within online groups. Guilty. I had to stop myself, dead ass, had to stop myself in the middle of a stream yesterday. I was watching somebody else's, and I caught myself talking shit back to some of these people. And I said, no, you're better than that. You're better than that. And that's what they want, right? Some of these people just want that reaction out of people. But I know as a person that I'm better than that. And I think if some of these trolls would stop and think, what is the point of doing that? Like, what is the point of getting people riled up? But I perpetuate the behavior if I feed into it, right? It's like putting gas in a car. If I put gas in the tank of this troll's vehicle, they are going to be zooming all over the place, spreading their BS. If I ignore them, they're not getting anything out of it. They're not getting the reaction that they want, right? It's kind of like when you were growing up and your mom said, don't even listen to that bully, sweetheart. You don't listen to that bully because that bully doesn't know you and you are adorable. Boop, mama loves you. But it's so hard to ignore them, right? It's so hard. But I had to catch myself because I was feeding into it and I know better than that. So there, again, the people disinhibition effect. Our keyboard warriors. People say things that they will not say to your face. Some of them will. Some of them will. But a lot of them won't, right? So I've always had this fear of public speaking. And I'm in a room, let's call this a room, in front of a bunch of people. Now, if you put me in an auditorium, behind a podium in front of 1,000 people, I would probably like crawl in a corner and die because I have like this huge fear of public speaking. And everyone always says, picture them in their underwear. I don't know why that's a thing. I've never done it. But when I see the trolls in the chat and it pisses me off, the first thing I do is just picture that they're probably like 10, 12, 13, and they're seeing a group of adults that are getting so mad. And as a kid, that's attention to me. I don't care if it's bad attention, it's attention. I'll take it. But then you have all these adults who are getting frustrated. So I have to imagine that they are someone who hides at home in their mom's basement, playing video games. They're going to be on my 600-pound life in a few weeks. I mean, I think of whatever it is that makes me feel better, that I don't have to take that shit personally, because they're doing it to make their own miserable lives better. It's just how it is. We've seen that since the dawn of the internet. And then we have the ambiguity, which invites projection. When facts remain incomplete, people project investigators. People often interpret cases through their own life experiences without realizing it. So we have the example of, I knew someone who knew someone who knew someone, and then this thing happened, and so that must be what happened here. Doesn't have to be this case. You can think of a story, I'm sure, in your head. He's just not that into you, right? So we have the girl who's saying, well, I knew someone who was married for 35 years, and he goes on a cruise and he meets this other woman and they fall madly in love. He divorces his wife and they just like ride off at the sunset and they live happily ever after. And then you have the girl who's saying, hey, come back down to reality. That is the exception. That is not the rule. Just because it happened that way one time doesn't mean it's always going to happen that way. But we have to pull from experience because that's what we know. That's what we know as humans, is what I've been through and what I've seen and, stories that I've been told. So that's what we have going on here. So it invites production where other people. Let's go back to the desert, Justin. Justin got us lost in the middle of the desert. And because I'm afraid that I'm going to die out in this desert, I'm going to get mad at Justin because he didn't bring a map or a GPS, right? That's what we have here. We're all in the middle of the desert. We're all without water. But I'm blaming Justin because I'm afraid. Not because Justin did anything wrong, but because I'm afraid. So if I were to take accountability out of it, or take accountability, take the anger out of it, take the projection out of it, and say, Justin, I'm scared and I don't know what to do. Well, then that makes me look weak. And that's where you get the people who aren't apologizing for their behavior. Because if we took accountability, we said, I hurt someone's feeling, I said something I shouldn't have, I overreacted, it makes me look weak. And I'm not going to look weak because I didn't do anything wrong. Well, then I guess we're both out here dying in the desert because two people yelling at each other and not trying to figure out how to get out of the desert solves nothing. Solves nothing. So we need to get back to the focus and find some justice for Nancy. Otherwise, we're in the middle of the desert and no one knows how to get out. So instead of looking at each other, we need to look for the fucking way out of here, right? So we have schema theory, interpreting information through personal experiences and beliefs. Again, we use what we know. And attribution error, we're assuming that behavior reflects personality instead of circumstance. So let's use Aaron for an example. And I'll tell you why I feel quite a bit of empathy for this guy. And I will feel bad and I'll be on here apologizing, if he was involved, but I feel genuine empathy for him. And I'll tell you why. And I don't know if anyone saw this interview room, but Chris asked him something about his girlfriend and he shut down and he kind of cowered a little bit. You could hear his voice, he was getting emotionally disturbed and he said, well, I don't really know. She doesn't really talk to me that much anymore. So immediately I turn on my heel from my original thought of this guy is a little strange. Maybe we should be looking into him to, I think he's a little bit broken. Like, I think inside he's hurt. I've heard about, his mom and how his mom unalived herself when he was in his teens. That is a profound age where we learn experiences and we learn different things. So I can't help but feel genuine empathy. And then we have people that are attacking him. And it's because people that are broken emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, they are very easy targets because they are vulnerable. They are easy targets for a predatory audience. And I'm sorry to say, but right now we're becoming a bit of a predatory audience. If you come in here and you sound a little bit weird, we're looking at you. And it doesn't matter who you are, but that's just how it's turning out to be, right? So I feel genuine empathy for him. And the longer the cases stay unsolved, we have early conversations that focus on evidence, right? A lot of these were evidence. We have, all of these different YouTubers, and we're going to talk about this today, and this is going to be our theory and our focus. And now over time, we're getting more of those frustrated calls. We're getting the streamers coming on and being upset. It's growing, right? We have a speculation, which has just grown wildly out of control. And we have emotional investment that replaces that restraint and that empathy, right? So because we're so tied to this, we're seeing ourselves engaging with the trolls more often, and we're not being empathetic to people that are different from us. We're attacking them in a way, right? Because we don't have answers, and it's frustrating. So we have rumination, we have repetitive mental focus on unresolved issues. So we, again, are beating a dead horse about this photo of the perp guy. Is he wearing gloves? Is he not wearing gloves? Is he wearing one pair of gloves? Is he wearing 2 pairs of gloves? Is he wearing 3, 4, or 5? Is he wearing something under his clothes? We have picked that apart and beat that horse dead. The horse is dead. I don't know anything else that we can get from it, but I'll watch. I mean, maybe there is, but a collective focus on one thing when we could be focusing on something else. But then we have an escalation of commitment. We're doubling down on our beliefs even when the evidence weakens. So imagine that the FBI comes out tomorrow and says, nope, they're innocent. A&T, they're absolutely innocent. We checked their vehicle. We checked their house. We checked under their floor mats. We checked over the hill and through the woods. To grandmother's house we went, and they're innocent. There are still going to be people that dig in their heels and say, absolutely not. I don't believe that for a second, especially if the crime is never solved, right? It's always going to be there. Look at John and Patsy Ramsey. They went through this whole thing and they've been cleared and cleared and cleared and cleared. And still people are saying that they had involvement in their daughter's murder. And that was 30 some years ago. So if this doesn't get resolved, it's only going to fuel their, speculation, and they're going to continue to feed the narrative, even if there's evidence saying that that's not correct. And we have cognitive entrenchment, which becoming psychologically attached to one interpretation. So I'm looking at, let's use the Burger Chef cipher, right? It's a interesting thing. I really haven't taken much time to look at it. I'm not an expert, but it's a cipher. We have the zodiac ciphers. We have different ciphers. So one person substitutes an A for an E, and we get one sentence. Another person substitutes an A for an O, and we get a different sentence. And we have 2 different interpretations. But if I am on team A over here, there is nothing you're going to tell me that says I am not correct. And so we remain stagnant because we cannot open our minds to a different possibility, right? If that one sticks and fills our nice little mold perfectly, I'm not going to move off that theory. I'm going to stay on that theory. All right, so let's bring it back to, humanity here. These are real cases. They cause real harm to people. Richard Jewell, he was the one that was publicly targeted after the Atlanta Olympic Park bombing, and he was eventually cleared. Then we have the Boston Marathon bombing, and online communities misidentified innocent people during crowdsourced investigations. What we have are people whose reputations, their lives are destroyed, they're diminished. People will never look at them the same. John and Patsy Ramsey, until Patsy died, God bless her soul, she walked around with the speculation over her head that she was a murderer of her own daughter. Could you imagine being that person and feeling what that feels like, to know that not only have you lost someone in your family, but now you're being blamed for causing that? I couldn't imagine. I couldn't. So we have the mob mentality. We have emotional behavior that is amplified within groups. We've talked about that before. We have the fundamental attribution error, which is assuming that they are guilty based on their perceived character traits, right? This one I'm going to bring back to Annie, and I'm just going to talk about her poetry, right? So we've heard about her being Wiccan. We've heard about, the poetry, and does this have a meaning, and whatever the case may be. She must be Gothic. They must walk around wearing black and drinking the blood of other people because she wrote some poetry that people deemed odd. So then she must be howling at the moon every, third full moon of the year, celebrating pagan ritualistic holidays because she wrote a poem, because she practices a different spirituality. Now, this is not about that. But I could do a whole episode on what those different, spiritual ideologies really mean and what they don't mean. So here we are, is that it has been a theory since the Salem witch trials that if a person does this, they must be that. In Salem witch trials, we had people that were crucified, they stoned, hung, all different sorts of things because they were perceived to be different. And do not let history repeat itself here. We don't need to crucify people because they have beliefs that we don't understand. And that's all it is. We don't understand. So just open mind, but I could do a whole one on that in itself. So then we have social amplification, online communities that intensify these emotional reactions. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. We've discussed that. So we have curiosity versus responsibility. So discussion helps keep cases visible and encourage awareness. That's what we're all doing here, right? We all want justice for Nancy. That's why we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into one specific theory, but we want to keep talking about it because we want some resolution. We want to find her. We want, hopefully she's safe. I think we've all kind of been thinking the contrary. I don't know how to say that in a better way. But I think, we all want to remain hopeful. But public accusations without evidence can seriously damage innocent people and their families. Hey, Mab. All right, so closing thoughts and open discussion. So uncertainty reduction theory, humans naturally seek emotional stability and predictability. We want the control. We want answers. We want them now. We want them on our timeline. It's just who we are. It's who we're hardwired to be as humans. Then we have emotional reasoning, believing that something feels true, therefore it must be true. And our final thought, the psychology behind the unresolved cases reveals something deeply human. Uncertainty is uncomfortable, but patience, evidence, and restraint matter more than emotional certainty. So, long story short, people would rather have a wrong answer than no answer at all. So I think as humans, as people on these platforms, as people in these audiences, the best thing that we can do is just keep an open mind. And did I lose Justin again? But it's to keep an open mind. If I pigeonhole myself into thinking one specific thing, then I don't open my mind to the possibility it could be anything else. And what I'm doing is hurting people in the meantime. I'm damaging other people's reputations, and they have to live with this far after. When we have a case, if it doesn't get solved, what we're doing is we get to move on with our lives. I get to go left, you get to go right, and maybe we'll meet on another case, and maybe we won't. But what we have are victims. We have victims in the middle of all of this, right? We have casualties. And being in recovery, what I'll tell you is that, I cannot take any more hostages. And that's what we're doing in these cases. The second we bring up somebody's name and we're starting to accuse them and look into their lives and track them down at their homes and their places of business, we're making them our victims. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be done. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't be looked into. But what it means is that we're not going to put the spotlight on them until we know for certain that there's something that needs to be looked into further, if that makes sense. So I think as humanity, as humans having a human experience, souls, spirits having a human experience, what we can do is just try to keep an open mind and be better with one another, be better to each other, be better in the chats, because, you never know what somebody else is going through. You never know. I particularly was having a hard day a few weeks ago, and I ended up going on somebody's stream and somebody took something that I said and they took it the wrong way. And when I tell you it almost made me shut this down and it almost broke me, I'm not lying. But what I needed to do, I needed to pause. I needed to step outside of that situation and look at myself and say, is that what you meant? Did you mean how that came out? No, I didn't. So then what the fuck was I worried about? that one person, two people in these chat rooms was going to get mad at me for like a matter of 5 minutes. And I wasn't even one of these people that is being targeted as a potential suspect. So I think we need to bring more humanity back into these cases. We need to really look and say, what if that was my mother, brother, daughter, father, sister, cousin that was getting accused of something, and their reputation, their name is being tarnished on the internet because they called and provided a perspective that people thought was a little strange. So we just need to look at how we're treating other people. And that being said, why is this shit on my feed? I don't know, but you can locate the exit on your screen. Get the fuck out. Thanks. All right. Anybody that wants to come up and talk, we can tell. Why did it reject my link? I'm trying to figure out how I can get this in the chat. Hold on. I'm telling you. And then I'm going to read some of your chats. Let's see. I don't know if I missed anything, but thank you for bearing with me during my little TED Talk. I don't know if that went. Did that link go? Okay, yeah, it's there. I dropped it in there if anybody wants to come talk. Doesn't have to be about this. We can talk about Nancy. We can talk about other theories. But we're going to be kind to each other. Bye, Justin. All right, I can only go so far back in the chat. I didn't know that. I don't think Porch Guy has a pew pew. It looks like a taser. I saw that last night on Patriot. I'm not sure. The picture that I saw kind of looked like it could be like the bottom of it, but maybe I just wasn't looking at it correctly. Hey, 101, I love you. Jules, Mama. Hey, Jules, Mama. Hey, Mad. Take that. To go boil some potatoes. That sounds delicious. I'm actually hungry. DNA number 14. What is that? Wait, Nancy. No, Nathan. Nancy is not Wiccan. She's 84-year-old lady. She was God-fearing folk. Tutu. Oh my gosh, I can only go so far. That's sad. Okay, could be a taser. Cat. Oh. I was trying to find like things on the slides that would make you guys laugh. Yes, Wiccan is very much nature, earth, wind, fire, water type things from what I know. But again, I don't know everything. Gotta send some. Yeah, I'll take some subs. Need some subs. I also need watch hours. So sub and watch, please. All right. I'm just trying to catch up, but I did put the link in the chat if anybody does want to come in. All right. So the night Nancy was taken was an embolic witch's night, I think, about the perp's eyes. Looks like they have mascara and eyeliner on, which would do up their eyes. I don't know if I'm understanding that correctly, so I don't want to comment if I don't know what I'm commenting on. Yeah, we do. We have to have thick skin in these streets, I'll tell you. But I mean, that comment almost broke me. And to be honest, not for any reason whatsoever, right? I mean, I got so upset that people, were going to think a certain thing of me. And when I just took 2 seconds to say, are you really that way? Even if people perceived you that way, are you really that way? And the answer was no. So, I mean, I had to move on, I can't live in what people think or don't think or might think or won't think, because at the end of the day, I have people that love me, and it's fine. The same reason that this guy, I told him to get out of here, because we want good, plentiful, meaningful conversations, and I don't need negativity. And I want positivity way more than I need subscribers or people watching this. So I got all good people in here and I love it. I don't think any of them were Father Day, Mother Earth stuff. I think it goes deeper. Thank you, V. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you. I was missing you, but I didn't know how to get a hold of you. Manage John Kelly Profiler and Leah put out a great clip on the porch perp and the profiling of it. Okay, let's take a look. Hello, Nanette. Did I just get called out from 10 minutes ago? Yes, you did. I love you, Nathan. There is no, the link's not in there? I see it. Okay, put it in there again. You know, let's do a show together and get you some. Yeah, Mab, let me know. I will chat my email and then just send me an email. I don't mind giving you my number, but I'm not doing it on here. Yep, nope. Perfect. Queen V, indeed. I see that it's right here. Treat others as you would treat yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, good. I caught up to the bottom. Now you don't have to hear me read any of them anymore. All right. I don't know if anyone's going to join or not. I'm going to go get myself a water, hang out here, be nice, be kind. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. And Mab! Okay, Mab, talk to the people while I go get a water.
Hey, what's up? Go get a water.
All right, you talk to the people.
What's up? You guys want to talk to an old man? I'll have to see it. I'll have to get the chat on my other phone. Hold on. There it is, right there. Yeah, we got to get some subs. I remember when I first started my channel, I started with 900 people because of Volleyvision, but it's hard, to start a new channel. So, yeah. But I was on panel with her just yesterday or the other day before. I think it was on Patriot Pride's channel, who is killing it. It's only been a couple months. They had, only 200 subscribers. Now they got 7,000.
Yeah, they've been doing great. I love their mission. So
yeah, I just started a nonprofit too, which I'm going to try to finish up today, since it's Memorial Day. I just wanted to hop on here and say hello, and we should do a show sometime and get some subs in here.
I'm all about it. You let me know when and where, and I will be there.
I'm gonna put my email in your chat.
So, any new theories or anything that I see that Dolly went to Mexico? What's Dolly doing in Mexico?
Oh, Dolly's not going in Mexico. Yeah, he is going to go to Mexico from probably San Diego. They left last night to Southern California, and then they're going to go to Vegas for CrimeCon.
Are you going to CrimeCon?
Yeah, me and Mrs. Mab are going to CrimeCon.
Hi, Mrs. Mab.
She's not here. She's went to get her hair done.
I need my hair done. So what is CrimeCon like? I mean, I've
I
heard
have
about
no
it.
idea.
But...
I've never been to CrimeCon.
Ah.
But it's a bunch of true crime people. They have different events, different speakers. I think Chris McDonough's going to be there. My dog's giving me the eye.
Here. Hey, Doug. I'm adding you
Hold
up
on
here.
1 second.
Yep, you're good.
Come on. Let's go.
Hey, Justine, Matt, thanks for letting me on.
Hey, sorry.
Great job so far.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Nathan, that's the dog you hear. No, I'm not going to CrimeCon. I was just in Vegas last August, and I was there for a week. And yeah, no, that was a lot. And I was less than a year sober at that point, so that was fun.
I'm finally over my jet lag from Key West, so I got to do a live today sometime and a bunch of stuff. So I just wanted to come up and say hello. My email is mabinvestigation@gmail.com. Send me an email and we'll set something up.
I will send you an email right now.
Oh, Mrs. Mab.
Yeah, and I will tune into you. Hi, Mrs. Mab.
Hi, Miss Mabs.
Come here and say hello to Pretty Little Clues.
Hold on, I've got stuff to put in the freezer.
Oh, she's got it all up in a bun.
Yeah, my hair's still wet, so you can't see anything. But give me a second.
It always looks darker until you dry it too.
I went to Target.
We're trying to put
You went to Target?
nice.
Uh-oh. It's a girl's trip tonight.
Yeah.
I saw my little bear. My little baby bear. Hi.
Just say hello.
Sorry. I'd say hello to the kitty first. Hi.
Hi. How was Key West?
Oh, it was fun. We always have a good time down there.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of sun.
That's awesome. You going to CrimeCon too?
Yes. Friday morning early. Will you be there?
Exciting.
No, she won't be.
Oh, okay.
I will not. Maybe next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
She just started her channel. She's got like 300 subscribers.
Pretty Little Clues. That's cute. Okay. What's your, oh, sorry. I was just going to ask what your name is, but that's not.
It's Justine.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Queen,
It's good.
Queen Justine.
Queen Justine. I like that.
All right. I got to get going. So.
All right. Sounds good. I'll tune into your live later. If anybody does not follow
Right.
Mab, which I'm sure you all do, follow Mab and Mrs. Mab.
Oh, yeah,
You guys
I'll
are
be there, man.
wonderful.
All right.
Thanks.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
So what's up, Dougie Fresh?
What's up, Justine?
Nothing.
Great breakdown earlier.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just sending Mab an email quick. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows who Mab is, and I was on a live with him. When was I on a live? I'm trying to think. I've been on 2 with him. I think both of them were, no, maybe 3. I don't know. 2 of them were Patriot Pride. I think maybe one was Alex, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. Anyway. Hello, Nanette. Hi, Christine. Welcome in. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to do the live today because, you know, I just feel like there's been genuine frustration, you know, in the chats. It's escalating among the streamers. It's escalating. And I think it's just because we don't have answers. And I don't think it's anybody's, you know, fault. I think we're all doing the best that we can. But it's frustrating when you don't have answers. And everybody wants to keep talking about the case, which is difficult to do because right now it's just kind of like we have to fill space because sometimes there's nothing new to talk about, you know?
That's right. No one's ever going to agree 100% of the time. never going to make everyone happy. So there's always going to be push and pull, and that's the way it's supposed to be, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, you have to tailor to your audience. You know, if people want to keep talking about Nancy and that's how you got your followers, I mean, you're going to keep talking about Nancy because that's right now what people want to talk about, you know.
That's right.
We can be prone to drama. You're right. As humans, we're prone to drama. I mean, I always tell my husband I like listening to it. I don't like being a part of it. But that kind of perpetuates the whole cycle, doesn't it? See, I'm guilty too. I don't want this to come off as preachy because I see myself doing the same shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm guilty myself.
My
Juice.
cat's just over here crying. Come on, Lou. Come on. Come on. You want to be a star? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. He keeps looking like he wants to, and then he doesn't. Come on. Come on. And maybe if I stop paying attention to him, then he'll come up. We do need to bring home Nancy. Lou to
Yeah, bring
James.
Nancy home.
How is Lucas feeling? How's Lucas feeling? Who's Lucas? I don't know. But if for some reason I have Richard or Aaron in here, you guys want to call in, I'll give you the floor because I really want to hear your perspectives. And it's my cat. It's my cat.
I'd love to talk to both of them too.
I know. I mean, and I don't think anybody's done anything wrong. Like when Sleuth had him on, you know, he was getting bombarded with all this information about, oh my gosh, like this guy called in and he was weird. And then all of a sudden, you know, he called in. So it's like you're getting blindsided with, I don't know who's calling in right now type thing. You know what I mean? Oh, how is he feeling? I don't know. How is he feeling? Is he here? Does he want to talk? I don't know. Someone in this chat said, how's Lucas feeling? I don't know. Probably mortified.
I mean, yeah, he's probably got to be suspect number one. He's the one that was served a warrant and detained. So,
Yeah, I mean,
an official suspect number.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of came out and cleared him, but I'm getting the cat.
I believe the majority of people think A&T are suspect number.
This is Lou. He's my Luda bear. Yeah, I know. You're not happy. I know. So his name is not Blue. It's Luda, like ludicrous.
What his talks on.
Okay, I felt bad for Lucas. Yeah, I mean, I think, bye, Nanette. I do think that I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for anybody in this case that's been accused and, you know, hasn't done anything wrong. I mean, like I said, I can totally level with the fact that I would feel terrible, you know, if I had just like called into, you know, Mark, or if I called into Ted or anybody, and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm getting a spotlight that I'm a huge weirdo and that, you know, I must have been in Tucson at that time and everyone's looking into my background and what I might have done or not did or whatever. Oh, see, here's Lou. Just hanging out. Just like, get that out of my face. But yeah, I don't know. My whole world would be rocked. Crybabies. Oh. Peace and love. This is good vibes only. What else do we want to talk about? Otherwise, I was, what one of my favorite shows does, just to lighten the mood a little bit. One of my favorite podcasts, what they do is they look up like a restaurant or a place or like a venue or a store or something, and they read other people's comments about it because it's funny, and usually people are just really ridiculous. But if y'all want to talk about Nancy, then someone needs to talk about something. I mean, I don't really know what other theories to go down. Go ahead. Sorry.
What about a possible disagreement in an assisted living situation amongst Nancy's family? I think that could explain some of the things that we see with the attorneys changing and all of that.
So you're saying that like maybe they wanted her to go into one and she didn't, and that's where this led to?
I think it's possible. Maybe we know A&T were the caretakers, and I think maybe Annie was like, Mom, I think you should think about going to an assisted living. And Tommaso was like, no, I think she should stay home. That could be why he gives up his power of attorney to real estate to Annie. And then her house goes on the market for 3 days, a couple weeks prior to this. And then we know that, well, we think we know that night after dinner, Nancy calls the attorney to change the power of attorney because maybe she didn't agree with Annie. She didn't want to go to assisted living. She wanted to stay in her home.
Well, I mean,
just about the box there,
Yeah, I don't think that at this point anything can be ruled out because like I said, we don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to find like a picture of her so that we can, I can get something up on the screen instead of just our little boxes. So, let me find something to put on in the background because we had our cute little. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I think that. I mean, my grandma, let's just say my grandma, she didn't want to go into an assisted living. Like she fought tooth and nail to not go into an assisted living. And what she decided to do at 82 years old was to not have her life alert on and to hop on a treadmill. And she did one of those like treadmill fail videos where she thought she was turning it down, turning it off, and she turned it up, and she actually like flung herself off of the treadmill and ended up like breaking her arm, like dislocating and breaking her arm. And yeah, it was crazy. Rather, die on the cross, rather than go into an assisted living. But I mean, is that really something that you think people would be willing to unalive someone for? I mean, what would be the end game, do you think? Just that she wouldn't go in? Or, I mean, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think it just sets up a theory. And the main point of it was that there can be innocuous reasons to change power of attorneys. It doesn't have to be something nefarious. I personally don't think A&T had anything to do with it. and they were actually also victims. The entire family was targeted.
I mean, yeah, I
That's my opinion.
think it's, we're spinning the wheels. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong at all. Don't take it that way. I try and think of all the different aspects, and I'm like, would someone's mom not going into, an assisted living, would that be grounds for an unaliving? Do you know what I mean? Or is it just, my grandma's stubborn and she won't go into an assisted living? But I think at some point, especially if he did have the power of attorney, I think that's something he can just do, isn't it?
It would be, yeah. But everything was given to Annie, not Tommaso.
Oh, why did I think that Tommaso had it?
Tommaso even gave up his power of attorney within his marriage
Well,
to
then that
Annie.
changes it a little bit.
And it specifically states for real estate purposes.
How do we know that? Do we have the document?
There's a document out there, yeah. Servant put it out there, 777, the faithful servant. There's a couple different documents.
Oh. Is that on their YouTube or a different outlet?
It's another YouTube channel, yeah. He's local to the Tucson area, though, I believe.
Yeah, no, I follow 777, Faithful Servant 777. If anyone doesn't, great videos. I mean, you talk about creativity.
Yeah, they're great.
They have it, that's for sure. But I just didn't know if the documents were posted on their YouTube or if it was on their X or something, because I don't have. I mean, I have it. I just don't go on it. Okay, so is it one of their posts, or did they do a video on it?
Yeah, it's a video.
All right. Let's see. Are you driving? Doug?
No, a car just went by.
Oh.
A motorcycle, actually.
Oh, here. Okay. I wonder where. Wait, stop. Oh, it scrolls really quickly. Well, let's give credit where credit's due. I will give full credit to Faithful Servant 777. And let's check this out. Anyone that hasn't subscribed, go over there. So here we have recording requested by, and then it says this is the special durable power of attorney known. Oh crap, sorry, I told you it scrolls really quickly. Okay, known by all men that presents that Tommaso Cioni, the undersigned principal, hereby makes, constitutes, and appoints Anne Guthrie, my true and lawful agent for me, with all the power and authority to act in my name and place. So this is just for him, right? Okay, let me just finish reading before I jump to conclusions. Place and stead, and for my use and benefit in any way which I myself could do if I were personally present, to sell, convey, purchase, acquire, mortgage, or otherwise encumber, transfer, and trust, borrow money, and execute and deliver notes, therefore, loan money and receive notes and security, therefore, and take or perform any other act necessary for appropriate regarding the real property described on Exhibit A, attached hereto and incorporate herein by reference the real property. In addition, my agent is specifically authorized to perform the following acts on his or her own behalf or his or her own benefit, only if my witness and I initial each specific act below. Note that the principal and witness must each sign or must each initial the corresponding blank space below with respect to each act listed for which the participant wants the agent to have authority. If a blank space for any specifically described act is not initialed, no authority will be granted for matters that are included in that section. So, accept payment of a commission, fee, or other compensation in connection with the real property. All right. Accept payment of all or any portion of the proceeds from the sale or financing of the real property. Execute any and all document necessary to complete the sale, purchase, and financing of subject property described herein. I, Tommaso Cioni, the principal, sign my name to this power of attorney on the 16th day of May 2025, and being first duly sworn, do declare to the undersigned authority that I sign and execute this instrument as a power of attorney, and that I sign it willingly, or willingly direct another to sign for me, that I execute it as my free and voluntary act for the purposes of the expressed in their power of attorney, that I am 18 years of age or older, of sound mind, and under no constraint or undue influence. All right. So she's saying, yeah, I'm the power of attorney, and I declare that the undersigned authority signs whatever, he's of sound mind, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so where... Okay, here we go. Exhibit A. I think this is where we're at. The real property description. Lot 22 in Block 17 of El Rio Park addition to the city of Tucson, a subdivision of Pima County, Arizona, according to the map or plat thereof of record in the office of the county recorder of Pima County, Arizona, in Book 6 of maps and plats at page 17 thereof. AKA 1410 West Niagara Street, Tucson, Arizona. Easier way to say that. All right. So, okay. So basically all he's doing though is granting Annie permission for the sale and whatever of their house. Why is this? Wait, that was in 2025 though. Is this a new one? Hold on. Did you guys see that? I'm confused. Hold on, let me find it. Let me find it. Okay. Where did I just see that date? Is it under... Okay, where did that go? Oh, here. Sign my name to this power of attorney on this 16th day of May, 2025. And then whatever, property exhibit A. And then this says, oh, her commission will expire. Okay, that was like total rabbit hole for no reason. I apologize. We're good. That's just her commission for her notary. Okay, it's the 16th of May, 2025. I mean, is there... Okay, I'm assuming that is probably the residence and... Okay, so this must be something else, right? Is this their house?
Oh, I think that's Jennifer's house.
Assuming so.
Jennifer Wessler, the attorney.
Oh. Oh, okay. So, I mean, I guess I'm just my true and lawful agent.
But wouldn't this turning over the
Let me
power
just
of
make
attorney within the marriage extend to the power of attorney they have over Nancy and all of her holdings and property? I believe it would.
No, I think it only is for their house. Because it says it's for the whatever described real property. And when we got to that section, it said only their address. So I think it's just the document for their property. Where the hell did that go now? Here. It says attached Exhibit A, referred to as real property. So no, I think it's only the house. So I don't know. Did he have bad credit or something? Did they need to sell it?
Interesting.
But all it's doing is transferring sole ownership basically to Annie. Is anyone else reading that differently? Because I don't want to. Just want to make sure. How was the FBI able to get a warrant, and what was the reasonable, articulatable situation for the warrant? How were they able to get a warrant? Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, nobody really knows how they were able to get a warrant because we haven't been able to see the warrant. We're just looking at a power of attorney for, I mean, the property, it looks like, which I think maybe in case something happens to him, but I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to think of that.
Definitely interesting, though.
It is. It's interesting that it's just whatever a year or so before this all happened. I mean, 8 months before. Am I mathing that correctly? May. So
Yeah,
if it was
7 was right into the 8th month.
I was talking about the warrant. Yeah, no. I understand, Mike. I don't know. I don't think anyone has seen the warrant, and I think that's a big question mark too, right, Doug? Is that we just haven't seen.
We don't know. We don't know how the warrant was issued. I have my own 10-man theory about that, but
Yeah, what do you got?
I think that it could possibly be national security. Like I've said, the uranium maps. With everything going on with the scientists, could Nancy be part of the whole missing scientist thing?
The only reason I have not spoken about that is because I have seen the Nancy Grace things where she's posted about the missing scientists, but I personally have no idea anything about that, to be honest. So I can't really speak on it. I don't know. I just know
I've been following it. And it's just it goes back to what happened in the 80s when the Chinese and Russian scientists were being kidnapped. It's the same thing that's happening now. And the downfall of that, let's call it a mission, was that they couldn't attain the uranium, which is needed as fuel and weaponization of some type of weapon, such as a missile or a rocket. Charles had government contracts to mine uranium. So knowing where it is what makes it so valuable. If information is what they were after, it just explains the time inside. And if Nancy didn't give it up, they'd take her away. And I think the ransom letters probably hold some of the clues, whether I'm right or wrong. I think that there's something in them letters that led law enforcement in a certain direction.
Yeah, I guess my thing is that with those letters, right, is that they're not releasing any part of it when part of those could be redacted, right? So you redact anything that you feel is over personal, anything that would, leak any sort of detail, like if that is, a theory, obviously, that maybe something like that was in there, but we know bits and pieces of the information, but why not just redact the parts that you don't want the public to see? Give us a freaking bone here. Like that's what's so weird, right? It's like this case is unlike anything that we've ever seen before.
Right. And then I'm going to make an observation on the ransom letters. If we do start getting any kind of leak or full disclosure of the ransom letters, that's when we can say, I think, that the case is going cold and they're looking for traction again. There's no more leaks and no more information. I think law enforcement is doing what they need to do to button this thing up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I get really, and I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I think this is the reason that there's a lot of people that aren't maybe talking about that, is because not like I want to be some sort of government secret whistleblower, but if that is the case, nobody here wants to go and get targeted because they brought to light an issue. I think it's the same reason that nobody's connecting the dots between Savannah's husband and what he did for the McClintocks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I got a theory on that too.
But I mean, I think people are afraid, and I'm not going to say that they probably, like, we don't all have a right to be afraid about speaking on those matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially people that have larger platforms than me, but you know,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's a scary thought.
Scary. It is. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if I've seen any of the people, even the people that can afford the protections, you know, that are out there against people like that, but speaking about it. And so if people that are that high up and not apparent, transparent, whatever, you know, if they're afraid to say anything about it, then it either doesn't hold any weight in their eyes, or they really are just fearful, and that's scary too. That's really scary. I need to interview
Other motorcycle
in Tucson for what the power of attorney actually says. I got people. I got people I could have take a look at it. I don't know if I'll get an answer immediately, but I really think that what it's saying is that they only have 22. So it says Exhibit A, real property description. And I think, let's just go back up to the top, because that's the only part that really says anything about. So he appoints Annie as his lawful agent for him, with the power and authority to act in his name, place, and stead. So basically she can do what I would do if I were there. And it just says regarding the real property described on Exhibit A. And the only thing that's on there is the one property, which I'm assuming is their house. So I don't know if they were trying to sell it. Maybe they were trying to refinance it, get a HELOC loan. But I think that's, you know, plausible of why they would do something like that. I think the timing is quite interesting. But, here's a theory. I have a theory about the Nanos thing, and the assessor. You heard about all that, right?
The Nanos thing with the assessor? Probably. Fill me in. Remind me.
So Brian Enton, I think, was the one that broke a story about how the FBI was asking for documents from the city assessor, which more or less words is the person who is responsible for the property tax bills and everything that goes in, I think, with the assessments and everything like that of the homes, their value and whatever. And he yelled at her for providing documents to the FBI. So my theory on this is, and everyone's been going back and forth about their property taxes and were they paid and they were delinquent, but now they're paid. Maybe it's not so much the delinquency of them, but maybe they were looking into who paid the taxes, who paid Nancy's taxes, who paid Annie and Tommaso's taxes. Because if it turns out to be someone other than them or Savannah or something like that, that could be a person of interest, in my opinion, right? I mean, that could be something that the assessor gave to the FBI that would either give them credence to look into somebody else, or, I mean, what are your thoughts? Did that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely. I think there was parallel investigations going on from the start. Kind of like Nano says, like Kima County is looking at a certain set of circumstances, and the FBI is taking a different lead and a different stance. And Nano's not knowing about the names on the list for the gun shop owners kind of supports that. They were both withholding information from both sides.
Yeah.
I think Nano's on his power trip when the assessor went behind his back, let's say, and spoke to the FBI without telling him first is why he got mad.
Yeah, I mean, Nanos is like an interesting character, because to me it's like, why is your ego so big that literally you are trying to do everything that you can to prevent the FBI in assisting you on a case that clearly you don't have a good handle on, like that you keep fumbling? You know what I mean?
He fumbled a lot.
He did.
Yep. I think he was just in over his head.
I'm going to see if I can pull up the assessor's office. Let's see what we can pull up from public records, shall we? I mean, enter parcel. Ooh, can just enter the address right on here. All right, 1410 West Niagara Street, Tucson. Easy. I bet you I'm just going to put in whatever Niagara Street and see. Sometimes less is more on these public websites, so. What? Hold on. To say what? Y'all, I'm confused.
What you find, Justine?
Okay. Hold on, because I don't want to. You know, it's like one of those things to like be. I want to be responsible. See, okay. Wait. So this was the house they just sold. This was the house they sold. So that makes sense. What he was doing is saying, I'm out of town. Annie can have my permission to sign all of the closing documents. That's all that is. Why is everyone making a big stink about that?
That's all it is.
That is all it is. And because I looked up this address, and what I was like super confused about is why somebody else's name came up for the property address. But it says that it was sold in May of 2025. And looks like they bought it in January of 2010. And it sold for like almost 2.5 times what it was worth. But that's all it's saying, is that, you know, he must have maybe like was going to be out of town, busy, school, something. And
he was probably in Italy with family.
Yeah. So I don't know why that was really made that big of a deal. I thought I like found something. I was like, what? No. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Oh,
It's that trying to fit square blocks in round holes thing.
yeah. I mean, Mike said in the chat, he said because they heard the words power of attorney, which is so true. And that's why, it's part of being responsible when it comes to media and doing things like this. Because what I could have done instead of looking at it is fly off the handle and say, oh my gosh, you guys, why is this power of attorney signed from Tommaso to Annie and the property doesn't even belong to them? And everyone would be up in arms. That would be clickbait, right? Like you get so many views and be like, oh my gosh, Annie and Tommaso don't even own this home. Who is this person? And then you're throwing out someone's information who had nothing to do with it. So that is interesting, but all they heard was power of attorney. It's because Tommaso must have been out of town or something. So that's where we can make big deals out of things that really aren't that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
I will, I'm going to throw the... Why? Okay, that is so stupid. I have to go into my actual live stream. If anybody else... Oh, so does this stay pinned or not? No, probably not. I wonder how people do that. I was just going to pin the link if anyone wanted to come in and talk, but I don't know how to do that because I'm just not that tech savvy. Hello, Nicole. Welcome here. Welcome in. Come sit down. Come hang out.
Come chat with us.
Do the JLR thing. Come in. Come in. Come on. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. Yeah, I don't know. Has anybody else have Blue, you're so funny. Does anyone do you have anything else that you want to talk about? Anybody else have any theories or anything that hasn't been discussed? Because we can go into different information like we just did. Parcel out, fact from fiction. What does this mean? So, okay. It says that it reveals...
I got another possible one.
Okay.
It's the J.E. Stalker theory that I can think of. Mainly has to do with Virginia Guthrie. She was one of the women that Savannah interviewed. Well, Virginia had a known stalker. And then shortly after the interviews, we know Virginia unalived herself. So it's possible that her stalker could have blamed Savannah and turned his attention to her and her family.
Sorry, I'm just reading this comment. JLR got hit himself, investigated the same time as the sheriff, coincidentally. You're going to have to elaborate, Mike, because I don't want to contribute someone. They can trigger someone to make false accusations. But yeah, Mike, if you want to explain your last comment, I don't want to assume what anybody means. So I know what you're talking about. I know which case you're talking about. I didn't know that she had a stalker, though. But, I mean, I guess if you're going to go to that theory and assume that it was this stalker person of Ginny, we'll call her Ginny, that you would think that maybe she was upset at Savannah. You're kind of saying like, well, if she wouldn't have brought this to light, Ginny wouldn't have been put in that position. And now that she's not here, we need to hold someone responsible. Is that kind of what?
Yeah, just imagine what that would do to a stalker. I mean, at the end of the day, they'd never even aired the interviews and talked about it. It was never exposed.
Yeah. I mean, to say that it's completely unrelated, I don't think anyone would say that. Anybody that kind of knows the intricacies of that and those other two people that I referenced, which Savannah's husband did some cleanup work for. I also heard that he did cleanup work for celebrities too, like Johnny Depp and when he was going to trial and some other celebrities. Again, how true that is, I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, it's interesting. It definitely is interesting. And I think it's the same reason nobody's talking about it is because everyone's afraid. I mean, it's the
I'm
same
just saying
reason
it's a possible out of the box theory that no one's talking about. That's the only reason I bring it up.
I don't know how out of the box it is. I don't. You know?
Yeah. It's definitely possible. Trying to put rationales on things that have to do with probably irrational people. So the pieces just don't always fit.
Yeah. Maybe. Oh, yeah. No, not maybe he was going out of the country. I
know I'm trying to keep up with the chat too.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, I mean, V has a good point. She said like that she was the most interviewed and outspoken victim, and that Savannah wasn't unique in bringing her to light. I think because a lot of those victims, I was listening to them speak earlier, I think this week, and a lot of them were saying that they had made complaints, like they had taken this to the authorities. The authorities just hadn't taken them seriously until finally somebody did, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those hot button issues that no one wants to talk about because those are scary people with some scary amount of power. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't know who the person is, I just know that I've read it in articles. That she had a stalker. It's out there in some of the articles when I was just researching the different people that were involved in Savannah's interview.
Can I get him the fuck out of here? Hold on. Ban user and delete their comments. Goodbye. Weird. That's lovely, internet. Did you see the comment?
I did.
Oh my god.
Not for sale, Rob.
Oh my god. Okay, let's talk about something weird. But there was someone that I went to high school with.
Matt.
Who? Huh?
I was answering V. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. A guy I went to high school with who years later asked me and a few other girls that he went to school with for used other things to sell them. And it's one of those things where you're not like, yeah, it's not the first time that's been asked. Like, you're embarrassed, but it wasn't socks, it was worse. But man, people on the internet. Too bad I don't have JLR gets to ignore all the crappy stuff because he's got a million comments flying all the time, but those stick out in here like a sore thumb. So if you're trying to say some weird creepy shit, it's going to get noticed immediately. Oh god.
Yeah, like Darren's dude.
Yeah. That's Blue, stop it. I was not. Is it? Who's Rob? I don't know who that is. Oh, yeah. Yes, it was that guy. I was like, I don't even know who Rob is. Oh, that was the guy that just asked me to sell my used socks. Freaking weirdos. Hi, Mustang. Hello, everybody. V, are you looking into the stalker? Yeah. Okay, Nana. Yes, I think that it was probably, Tommaso is going to be out of town or something. Have you guys seen Tommaso's like Italian written website? I don't know how, not like a website, but I don't know. I don't really know what
Blog?
it was. It looked like some sort of like no, it was like some sort of website, like an art collective type something. I don't know. I'll see if I can find it. And then I'm getting hungry, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on here, but or I'll just put something on and y'all can just talk amongst yourselves and watch. We'll see who else is on. Because we can talk, I can come in and out, but I don't want to talk over people's live streams either. You know what I mean? Okay, I found this website, but shit, I should have. It's like one of those things, hindsight is 2020, where it is like this weird thing. Gosh, I want to find it. What is this? That's not it. That's not it. It was his website, and it was written like all in Italian. Oh, maybe that's if I spelled his name right, maybe more would come up. I didn't spell it right. Let's see. We could be going down like a rabbit hole because I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. But shit, it's like one of those things that I wish I would have saved. And another thing that I didn't know was that Cameron's first name is not Cameron. Like legally is not his first name. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. That's not his legal name.
No, it's Charles Cameron Guthrie, I believe.
Oh, he goes by his middle name. What did he see when he got there? What led Cameron to believe that this was a kidnapping for ransom right away? He had to have seen something. Or had known something previous. Was there previous threats to him or the family?
Yeah, again, something that we don't really know.
You don't have the answers to.
Don't know. Nope. I think it's like one of those things where we get into, these details, and I'm sitting here trying, like, searching through like 8 to 10 pages of freaking Google to find this Italian website. Oh shit. I found it. Yeah, I found it. Here. Let's oh, I already told you. Okay, here. Let me put this up. Tapirulan. I don't speak Italian, but okay, come on. Share screen. What I said. Okay, here is this. So whatever this website is, let's get some, let me get some Google Translate in here, shall I'm fluent in Italian. All right. I was born in San Giovanni Valdarno on June 18th, 1975. Since 2006, I have lived in Tucson, Arizona. I write whenever the opportunity arises. I study lizards. I play electric bass. I make homemade pasta. That's what that says. I'm assuming.
Interesting.
Let's see what.
Sounds like the start to a dating profile.
This is his poetry. Shall we translate some Tommaso poetry? Anybody interested in translating some Tommaso poetry? Let's just get a quick. You're a great sleuther. You know, I'm gonna tell you, I used to do this shit in high school for fun. So no one was going to notice.
Same.
And here we are having the audacity to like call other people's, shit weird. Okay, let's see.
I know I'm weird. It's okay.
This is subtext. All right, are we ready? Let me share this tab instead so we can all read Tommaso's poetry together. What I do not know, what you do not know, you invent in leaps and quick strides, in flat, slow voids, in rhythms and limits that tend toward zero, in clues you drop without knowing if they are true, and you watch us from behind a pane of glass to understand the consequences of an action. Give us the stay, illusion, and the integral, an area of emptiness to be measured with a semantic yardstick. I don't have any thoughts on that one. But there's
similar to Annie's. Little fun fact. Annie actually came up here to Massachusetts, my hometown of North Adams, to get her book published and did a speaking at our local establishment called Massimoka. All the way from Arizona. The company that published her book is here in Massachusetts, in North Adams. Just a little fun fact.
Okay. Oh, that is interesting. All right. The words remain suspended in the space of a breath to confess secrets. They tremble on surprised lips in dull rites of contrition that leave the soul reduced. Okay. I mean, it probably sounds like way more poetic to read it in Italian, I would think. All right. Sentiments as atoms, soft lines of the horizon overlap to join the ellipse of distance, a virtual embrace, a bartering of pixels. Sentiments, atoms of chrome and neon create the illusion, almost, of being able to dispel the perennial eclipse of the half moon. The fossil heart decays its carbon, attesting to an age of just a few years ago. To return is to find an older likeness and a new generation. Anyone else finding this interesting? If the advance becomes the upfront and the keyboard lacks the accent, I feel absences close by, the elusive coffee, the real hugs, the brain a walnut kernel, a twang of wires that you will unravel while I have already gone Wi-Fi. Another, I'll finish these up and then I'm probably gonna get something else on so that I can go eat. I had like a granola bar for breakfast. I'm hungry. If I were to translate your sentences word for word with the same obstinate liturgical precision of a function analysis, to scan the frequencies of every sound and satisfy and absolve every prayer of yours, I would force my way into your thoughts to steal you from the secret of prime numbers. Oh. 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 Is that his pickup line? Is that his Tinder profile? All right. Another one. I recognize the lucid ambivalences you employ to displace meanings and signifiers, to add dimensions to the quantum mechanics of sentences, like fundamental strings in which the concept occupies a minimal space, sharp and smooth. Within this subatomic context, your truths do not manifest as such, but rather as primal filaments of evidence that vibrate and throb to the rhythm of your breath.
Seems very abstract and just open for many different types of interpretations.
Yeah, I agree. Oh. If she still uses a pencil to margin the void, to dike the connection, a painting, a monstrance, a particle, a shroud, the cavallary of boards and measurements and dimensions, an irreproachable land registry clerk follows procedure blindly with pages and maps and a ruler. Alphanumeric codes, it suffocates me, there is no air, and the connection between glancing at the clock, the problem to be solved, and lighting a cigarette. She is ash blonde, my fingers nicotine yellow, her suit smoke gray. If she still uses a pencil to margin the void, to dike the connection, a painting, a monstrance, a particle, a shroud, the cavallary of boards and measurements and dimensions, an irreproachable land clerk follows procedure blindly, with pages and maps and a ruler, alphanumeric codes. It suffocates me. There is no air. And the connection between glancing at the clock, the problem to be solved, and lighting a cigarette. She is ash blonde. My fingers nicotine yellow. Her suit smoke gray. Anyone else finding this
One seems personal. A little personal. Like the person maybe that he's talking about would know what he means. Is it the same clerk that had a problem with nanos? Hey?
Yeah, I mean, let's see if this says when this was 2010.
I just see patterns everywhere.
Okay. What? You guys, look at this. So remember I just went and looked at the city assessor's office and whatever? I said that they bought the house in January of 2010. This was written in January of 2010.
See? Just a coincidence, Justine. LOL.
Land registry clerk follows procedure blindly. That's not always a good thing when they say follow procedure blindly. What he's saying is that she should question it. She's just following blindly.
Like a puppet.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Well, that is an interesting connection, I must say.
Yep, I am actually. I don't know how do people normally do that? If I'm gonna like put a link, do people usually just put it in like the description? I don't know.
Or
I don't know. All right. Anyway, but I will put. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, I guess, if anybody wants to go and look at this, investigate this website any further for yourselves. Maybe. Okay, well, that is that website for our friend, but that was I don't know. That was interesting to me. I don't know about anybody else, but sure. Alrighty. Well, thank you for calling in, Doug. I think I'm going to go get something to eat and then see if anybody is still left in the chat, and maybe we'll come back on in a little bit. But for now, let me see who let's see who we can get you on with. But yeah, we'll talk soon, Doug, okay?
yeah, thanks for having me. I'll pop out of here and I'll keep my notes on when you come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having me, Justine. Good talk.
Yeah, thanks for coming. All right. So you guys don't want to see my face. Let's find you something. Let's find something to watch. Wait, what? You have the porch guy's fingerprint? Do elaborate. I would love to I'd love to get a copy of that. Yeah, I don't know. I really feel like that last poem was quite odd of his, but let's see. Let's see who's on right now. And also happy Memorial Day to all the veterans, those who are still out there serving our country, the sacrifices, and those who have sacrificed their families to be able to sacrifice for this country. I have family. My uncle is or was in the Air Force, and my other uncle was also in the military. He passed in December of 2018. And he is very missed. So don't forget to love and hug all of the servicemen and women and their families today because they sacrifice their time as well. Let's see. I don't know. I think everybody must be taken off. Oh, wait. There we go. All right. Let's put this on. This happened a little while ago, but I don't know if a lot of people aren't up that early. So got some pajamas that were found on the side of the road, and I called it a lump of lawn, but there was like a disturbed part of the ground that was found early. Can you guys hear it now?
Rough pack rat nest.
Free back there.
Yeah, I think it's a.
But you could see like a pack of like lip balm or something.
Yeah, it's like a yeah pack rats. That looks like a.
Collect things and bring them there.
Oh yeah, they'll collect feces.
Yeah.
They'll collect whatever they can find. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yep. What they do.
It's called tape.
I smell like something smelling. Like a weird smell.
But I'm sure, like, something like this right off the road, like this, within 100 days, that somebody would see a body if there was a body. Like there's probably people that come and walk and picnic and. They end up seeing a body at one point. Here's our vehicles here.
I've satisfied my curiosity on that.
You have my bottle of water in there?
Yeah.
You got water, JR?
Yeah, I'm good. I have liquids. I have a soda. All right, so what's this next location?
Right up there. Up the road.
All right, you take a drive. New location, folks. JLR always with the soda and Red Bull. 77. Roll out. Roll out. Where are we at next? Oh, I think it's here. No? Falcon Valley Ranch Road. '79. We're on 79. Roll out. Going towards Florence, Arizona. It is 8:13. All right, looks like we're pulling over. No? Just wanted to go to an additional location. Let's see. Is this the location? You want to go here? I don't know where they're trying to go. I'm going to follow off the dirt road. All right. Wind socket. I gotta put the wind socket on. Stand by. Wind socket. I had to take it off when I was in the car so I could charge. Took off plenty of battery. Need the wind socket. Okay, got it. Got it. All right. Roll out. Let me park up here a minute. Off the road. I'm gonna park off the road. There you go. Roll out. All right. Starting to get a little hot out. Welcome back. All right, what's the objective here?
Well, this place, what I really want to do is I want to search, like, for me, I wanted to search closer to the roadways,
Mm-hmm.
like the street, because, you know, but I'd like to check out this road over here.
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
Just, oh, they're all excited.
Sorry, I'm here.
They said, move.
Give me 1 second. I gotta put this thing in.
Oh my goodness. There's a little...
You back?
There's no sound.
No sound?
Yeah.
Hold on. Microphone's on.
Sorry. Back. Going along the road. Cows.
Man, those cows are not happy. Or they are happy.
So they got cows all over the place. I'm gonna put this wind socket on. Stay with me. Off the road. You're 40 feet off the road.
Yeah. See, this is where I wanted to search, right up here. Closer to the road.
Yeah. So I wish Savannah again would share what type of pajamas so we can at least know the color.
Right.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. Barefoot pajamas. Okay. What kind? Pajamas. Help us out.
I'm sorry. Was I talking and you guys couldn't hear me that whole time? Okay, so I am looking at your comment and I'm just wondering, Lord, how did we, okay, so how did you, I don't know how that works. I'm a little tech stupid over here, obviously, because my stuff keeps freezing. So you're saying that you have a fingerprint that you got from the footage. I guess I don't know, how does that work? Yeah, sorry. I joined on my phone and I joined on my computer, but my computer wants to freeze every time I touch a button, so it's just easier for me to join on my phone as well. But I did not add myself to the stream, so I was talking and nobody could hear me. So that was fun for a minute there. Hi, Critter Mama. So happy to see you. Okay. Did you send it? Because I didn't get it. I'm looking for your email, but I've not seen it yet. All right. Well, I suppose while we wait, I'm going to mute and we can watch. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would think her being her age, she would be like in
Pink?
she'd be like in
A gown, a white gown.
yeah.
A white gown.
A white gown or something with flowers. Something you'd see a grandmother in.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Something with flowers or
yellow flowers. They don't believe was searched. I'm kind of just see what's going on. The cell phone is kind of spotty, hit or miss, so be patient, folks. Continuous coverage of the search for Nancy Guthrie. Yeah.
Technology is great when and if it works.
we'll get back down in a few minutes.
Okay, well, apparently my computer is just gonna keep giving me flipping problems. So I suppose what we could do for now is just end it here. But I am very curious to see the email Lord footage. So let me just make sure that I put my email in there correctly and that it's not a me thing. So hold on, where is it? Well, I'm gonna put it down there one more time, just in case. Thank you so much, V, for all of your help. You are phenomenal. Justin and Doug for joining me. Mab is phenomenal. Check out Mab Investigates. And I do think he said he was going to be going live later. So make sure that you guys all go and check him out. And then Patriot Pride is phenomenal. I'm going to be hopefully doing a spotlight series here. I've been trying to get a hold of some of the YouTubers. Some are easier to pin down than others, but basically anybody that's been working on the Nancy Guthrie case that wants to come on and talk to me, we're going to be, talking to them. I want to talk to them about their mission, a little bit about themselves, things that we don't know because they're out and about, they're on the road, they're doing different things, and we're watching them all the time. So I just thought it would be a fun thing to get to know them a little bit and, figure out what's next for them, see where all these guys plan on taking their channels after the Nancy Guthrie case is resolved, hopefully in a good way and doesn't just fade out. But I know that a few of the streamers have been working on other cases as well as this one, so trying to get them all together. I know that Patriot Pride I'm going to be doing one with. Ted said that he would do one with me, and hopefully we can get Mab on. And so make sure that you're supporting all of the other streamers out there, and I wish them love and peace, and hopefully presentation or whatever you want to call it talk earlier helped make sense of why everybody is getting so frustrated with one another. And I hope that by understanding why we do things, it helps to maybe resolve some of that animosity and some different things that are going on with everybody. Have I had an open panel yet? I have not. Usually it's me and, 3 or 4 other people. This is probably the most that I've had in my room at one time yet. So I haven't had the luxury of having too big of an open panel, but I'm hoping that we can continue to grow and have more people in here, do more interesting things. Again, my email is in the chat. If anybody has a different angle, anything that they want to discuss, anything they want looked into, anything they might think might be possible. But we need to bring our focus, to Nancy and to other missing people out there. A lot of people that are missing their brothers, sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, brothers, uncles, aunts. And this channel is by the people for the people. I want to cover cases that maybe aren't talked about or cases that need more light brought to them. So we're here to bring a voice to the voiceless. So if anybody else has any other cases or anything that they want me to look into, again, my email is in the chat. But I am going to go ahead and sign off. I will get on here, say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you soon. Love you. See you later.